Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sagar Utekar and this is day 3 of our free CK series. So far we have covered so many interesting topics in this CK series. We discussed everything we need to understand for CK exam, as well as we discussed about the virtualization and the containerization deployment model. We also discussed the Kubernetes. Why do we need Kubernetes? What is Kubernetes? Kubernetes architecture, its different components, and so many interesting topics, right? So today we are going to discuss about how to use the Kubernetes. What are the different methods to set up Kubernetes cluster? So in this video, we are going to focus on the Minikube cluster installation, as well as in the upcoming videos, we will discuss about how to create a Kubernetes cluster using kubeadm tool on AWS EC2 instances. And the third option we are going to explore is managed Kubernetes service. So Elastic Kubernetes service is a service, EKS service provided by the Amazon AWS. And we are going to check that option as well. Right. Okay. So Minikube is just for your learning purpose and it is mostly used for development. It is not recommended to use in production Kubernetes environment. Just remember that. Other options will explore how actually companies use kubeadm based setup or the EKS based setup in the production environment. But for quicker development related work, and for learning, we always go for the Minikube and other simple options. I'll explain you the why, because the need for running Minikube on your machine is very simple. You need two CPUs, 2 GB of memory, 20 GB of free disk space, good internet connection, and supported container driver. Okay, so I have noted down all the steps we need to perform to create a Minikube-based cluster. So there are three main basic requirement. First is a supported driver. Second is a kubectl command line utility, and then we are going to install the Minikube. Let's start with the first step, which is set up suitable supported driver. The Docker is one of the preferred option amongst all available options. So we have virtualization, VirtualBox, HyperKit, Hyper-V, KVM, and many other supported drivers. So you can check the list of supported drivers for your operating system. This is a guide where you can check the supported driver list for Linux, macOS, and Windows. And you will see here, Docker is one of the preferred drivers. So we'll go with that. How to get that supported driver Docker. We already have seen how to install the Docker in one of our previous video. So make sure you install Docker desktop on your machine before installing a Minikube. Okay, and this is a guide which you can follow for installing Docker desktop on Mac, Windows, or Linux. The second requirement is having a kubectl command line utility. So you can follow these instructions to set up kubectl on your machine on Linux, macOS, and Windows. You can verify whether kubectl is installed and Docker is installed using kubectl command. And if it shows you the correct output, then Docker and kubectl is installed on your machine. Okay, so I'll go back and I'll also check the third requirement, which is a Minikube. So you can go to Minikube documentation here and just click on operating system architecture, and it will provide you the instruction to set up or install Minikube on your machine. So since I have macOS, I'll select a macOS architecture, release type, and installer type. I can also use Homebrew to install Minikube on my machine. Okay, so this is very simple. Let me verify Minikube installation. It is showing me the output, which means I have Minikube installed on my machine. I'll not install it again. So those are the three main utilities we needed. You can verify whether do you have a latest Minikube version or not by running a Minikube update check command, and it will show you the current and the latest version. Since we have the latest version, we will not update it. Now, coming back as we discussed, once you have all these basic requirement, there is very simple command Minikube start to start your Kubernetes cluster, which takes different parameters. to whether if you want to specify some different driver, the number of nodes for your Minikube cluster, CPU, memory, Kubernetes version, etc. And the main parameter I feel is a profile, which can help you to specify the unique name for your Minikube cluster, which means you can have the multiple Minikube clusters running on your machine. So let me copy this command and we will start our Minikube cluster with these options. Okay, so it is going to pull some images for starting our Minikube. The one thing you need to understand how this Minikube actually works. Since we are using a Docker as a supported driver, it is going to create the containers for our Minikube cluster. So once all these nodes are created for our cluster, you will see on the Docker desktop, it is actually creating the containers, respective containers to represent the nodes. Okay, so here I am back to the Docker desktop, and in the containers tab, you will see there is one container running, and we should see two more containers, which will show us that this is a 3-node Minikube cluster and their respective containers. It will take some time to create all those nodes. Right. So since it is taking some time, I'll explain the further options. Once your Kubernetes cluster is ready, you can interact with your Kubernetes cluster. You can connect it with your kubectl command line utility, which is installed on your local machine. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to check different profiles of your Minikube clusters, uh, just in case if you have multiple Kubernetes clusters created using Minikube, then you can use the Minikube profile command. Minikube profile list will show you the available all profiles and you can switch between those containers. If you want to set any particular profile, then you can use a Minikube profile and the cluster name or profile name. And it will set your cluster to that profile. Okay. Let's check here in our terminal. Okay, so what it is doing, it has started creating our first node, and then if you actually notice here all the logs, it is creating a Kubernetes cluster of version 1.31, Kubernetes 1.31, which is the latest version. The container runtime is container D. It is generating some certificates, setting RBAC rules, configuring a CNI and everything for you. So that's why it is very quick and easiest way uh, to create a Kubernetes cluster. I think it has created all 3 nodes. The command is completed. Now we can set our profile to this cluster. Let's check on the Docker desktop as well, whether do we have all these 3 containers. And you will see here on the Docker desktop, all 3 containers for our Minikube are running. Now, this cluster is ready. Okay, we can check. Let me clear the screen and we should be able to see all the nodes using command line. So kubectl gate nodes is a command to check the nodes of your Kubernetes cluster, and all nodes are in ready state. As we discussed in previous video, Kubernetes architecture, there are different nodes categories. So the main node is control plane, and you will see the version of Kubernetes running on that node, as well as the other 2 nodes are worker nodes. Okay, this is fine. Let's run some sample application. So I have created this deployment file, which you can copy and just create one file here locally, kubectl, and copy the content of this. So what we are doing here is that we'll see this in detail, but try to understand deployment is a component or the resource in Kubernetes, which will help you to create the replica set, and replica sets will create pods for you. And inside a pod, we will have the one or more containers. So this is what we are specifying. We want to create a resource in Kubernetes of kind deployment, and these are the specifications of the deployment. This is the one main part we need to understand just for this video, which is the container section. We want to create the container using this Docker image, getting started colon latest. And specifically for Minikube, we want to set this parameter image pool policy is equal to never. I'll explain this in as soon. And what we are saying is that the container internally is running on the port 3000. That's it. So let's save this file and we will try to create pod using kubectl apply -a and passing this deployment file to that command. Okay. We can check the running pods using kubectl get pods command. And it will show that, okay, it is saying error image never pull. So what exactly is happening that we need to have this, we need to push this image from our local image, local machine to inside the Minikube. Okay, this image is present locally on our machine. To push that image, we need to perform some operation. So let's check that if we can do. So Minikube image, load this image, getting started inside a Minikube. So this is the command which will load the local image inside the Minikube. So this to explain it more, let me draw this. So what is exactly happening? This is our machine, and inside this machine we have a Docker desktop. Okay, and inside the Docker desktop we have multiple different containers of a Minikube. So I created this image, built this image in one of our previous video. We already discussed we need to write a Docker file to create a Docker image. And from that image, we can create a container. Okay. So same thing we are doing with Kubernetes. We are using this image to create a container. So this is a structure of the Kubernetes deployment YAML file. But the image which we built is running on our local machine somewhere here. So we want to load that image inside a Minikube container. And for that, we need to run this command, Minikube image load getting started latest. Okay, so let me erase this now. I hope this is clear. We can verify the list of images present inside a Minikube container using Minikube images image ls command, and it will show us the available images. Okay, so this is the image now present inside the Minikube, and we can verify the parts now. kubectl get parts. Okay, now the our container is running, but how to access that container? So for that, we need to create a Kubernetes service using kubectl expose deployment command. So let's run this command and it will create a service for us. So just for now, understand that service is a component which will help us to access our application running inside a container. So we need that service. And how to access that service? So in case of Minikube, we need to run a command called Minikube service and the service name. So it will automatically open a tunnel and it will give you the access for your deployment containers. So this is our application accessible. So we can just create a CK and this is similar, right? We can perform any operation on our containers. Yeah. So this is how we need to access our Kubernetes service inside a Minikube and how to pull images, how to push the images into Minikube container using Minikube Minikube image load command, how to check the images inside a Minikube using Minikube images ls command. There are multiple operations you can perform, and there are various options to push your local image inside a Minikube. You can check this document. Okay, you can check these 8 different options for pushing your local images inside a Minikube. I hope this is clear. Once your work is done, you can either pause your Kubernetes cluster, you can stop it, you can delete, you can also check the profiles, you can switch between the profiles, you can also SSH into Minikube container. So let me stop these. Uh, First, check our profile. So this is the only profile we have now. We can stop this Minikube cluster using Minikube stop and the profile. Okay. Now this is going to stop our Minikube cluster for now. Whenever you need it back, you can get it back as well. I think that is what I wanted to explain. Now your Kubernetes Minikube cluster is ready. You can perform further next exercise on Minikube cluster. Only thing you will not be able to do here is that Kubernetes cluster upgrade and it is ready backup restore. So for those two exercises, I would recommend to use the Kubernetes based setup, and other all exercises you can use a Minikube. Okay. But yes, so this is what I wanted to explain in this video. I hope this is clear. And if you have any questions, you can drop those in comment. I will try to answer all those queries. And thank you for watching this video till the end. I'm super happy with the series, how it's going and how I'm able to publish the knowledge and will help you to clear the CK exam in the first go only. So yeah, if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and also share with your friends. It will help me as well, and it will boost my confidence to create more such videos. Thank you.